I've got to bring just one stat around because ultimately, Revenant Esports have the #2 rank for set win percentage. They are the top team in the entire competition, almost. But no, not to Reject, who took the #1 spot. That is a very, very strong statistic as we go into this match. And already Sergeant on the right-hand side getting some taps, but just find a toolbox. Was Troy just find a nice angle into response here, who could well be in trouble here, burning down slightly, and that should be the final blow there. He will tick. Ooh, 80. He stays alive.
Just narrowly though, and they do have the blue star as well, so a good start from Meow there. Bear in mind, different Meow from the one we've been seeing all year long in in Europe, so we'll see if they're able to pull this through, but they do have a lead so far. Trishant did move over to this right-hand side and let Sergeant push up this left. Troy now being pushed back so heavily. Meow just trying to cover, does have his super as well, but obviously doesn't really want to go too aggressive. Marked up and shot now, brought down to one shot. The Vengeful Spirit, sadly for them, didn't connect though.
Troy very much in trouble here on the top right, 516 HP. Meow and CZK have got to come in and try to deflate a little bit of this pressure. Sergeant, though, not going to connect there. Places down a nest egg as well for his time on that left-hand side. Meow marked up and gets the takedown there from Sergeant. And that will bring the lead over to Revenant now. And that is the first takedown, first sign of it. Blue Star, though, will also have switched over to Revenant, so that's quite crucial.
Yeah, I do like that nest egg placement as well. That from response, great pull straight through the nest egg as well, which deals some damage, and one popped up top left as well, stopping Meg from coming in and trying to avenge his teammate. But Trishant really in a good place here with this ego in front of him. Freeze frame, Shaw still available as well. Sergeant's avoiding nicely in response. Trying to work for another pull, but Jump comes in. Meow's going to go for it, and that seems a little bit over-aggressive for me. So close to the end of the match. You want that last push. Not really suiciding for that there.
I liked Sergeant's patience there just to ensure the takedown was there. What a magic hand there from response. Meow now completely out of position, and then Revenant know it. Get the takedown, 13 stars to only 3 of Rising Sun. And that is a very good way to start off the first game for Revenant. Clearly celebrating. I hope it's not too much too soon. We've got a long way to go, but that is how you get the party started.
Yeah, usually I'd say spinning a bit toxic, but I think in this friendly environment we might let it slide. To be honest, because they're just laughing at each other across the stage, having a good time here, really. And obviously they are trying. They want to make it to the World Finals. Both of these teams capable of doing just that. But obviously with friends across the stage, you've got to make the most of it when the time comes, and we should be getting into the second game of Bounty very, very soon. I mean, it was dominant towards the end from Revenant, but let's not ignore that the start wasn't going bad for Rising Sun at all. Maybe even should have had that finish off onto response in the mid early on.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rising Sun now as well, looking much more focused. Maybe the time is now to strike, and friends no more. Troy, very low here, but Sergeant needs to really finish it off. He doesn't. Meow still in the mid. Low HP, as is CZK. It's Sergeant who falls to Troy, and that is going to bring the lead over to Rising Sun. Meow, though, low. 10 HP out of mech form now for CZK. It's very much a more back and forth affair this time around.
Push him all the way back now. Mark's going to be missed there, and Meow avoided it nicely, but Trishant pushing around this right-hand side. Looking really good, actually. Got his ego up as well. Freeze frame obviously not really going to be that useful considering it's behind him unless he runs back to it, but Sergeant going to place that nest egg now. And pushing up, waiting for them to obviously return up to the mid to be able to make use of that, and the same there as well. CZK gets pulled in, toolbox going to be dropped, 200 on response, and he survives it out. But Trishant on the right, looking quite low, but Meow can't aggress with any help.
Yeah, great body blocking as well. That left-hand side to ensure the survivability. Now the heals as well, just keeping Trishant in the mix, swapping lanes over to the left-hand side. Sergeant finds a tap onto Troy. Vengeful Spirits only find Troy. Meow is able to find some cover, but this is not looking like a very good spot at all for Rising Sun to find themselves in these final seconds, and I can sense that Revenant Esports can smell the blood.
Oh, Meow's going for it. He's trying to get the trade blast. No, oh, it's just about a positive one. Response now was burning down, but couldn't get the slow off as Crow was back in spawn. So have 4 slows overall, but CZK's going to walk over that mine there. Gets a shot off, tanks a couple more. Pulls there, but it's onto the legs. Can he get the damage down when it comes in? But it stops before they can do anything. Jump's available from Meow now as well, but no mech means no push. Eventually gets it, but 11 seconds on the clock.
What a turnaround, but it's not over yet. One final push for Rising Sun to try to make something of it. Meow goes in, finds nothing. Sergeant is staying alive still until the end, but it's not going to matter. The blue star and 11 stars stay with Revenant.
Close, but trying to take a long-range battle down the sides, but if they lose control, what are they going to do?
It can certainly break a lot open, especially if, you know, they can get control. They can break open the bush and the walls and leave everyone much more vulnerable. They've got a lot of squishy brawlers on the side of Revenant, on the side of Rising Sun, rather. And that might be the process, but nonetheless, it's definitely a very high risk, high reward, though, nonetheless, brawler. But in a map like Julie Beatles, when you lose control, it's just so hard to retake.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, especially when you've got a Piper and a B on your side. Barley going to be playing down this mid. Rattle Hive coming in early on. And Prashant pushing up into a strong position, but heals from the Barley, keeping Troy in the mix. Prashant now trying to push forward. Obviously did use one of those scrap suckers already, so doesn't really leave much for the late game. Obviously 3 more, but you really want to keep those, I feel. This Jesse against Piper is not going to be surely going the way of Meow, and it's down to CZK and Troy to make the move.
Troy jumps in on the aggressive. This is the first sign of it that we've already seen on this left-hand side, and he does win the interaction. That's going to put a lot of pressure over to the response, over to Sergeant, who is soaking up shots from Meow and should surely go down here. If CZK wants to do so, he might just want to bait him in and keep him in the mix, because it's going to prolong that respawn and getting back into the thick of the action. And now, Rising Sun have got the mid control. They're starting to gain the objective now, approaching 25%, and so far, Revenant have got to get back in this game. Sergeant's going to go for a break here, potentially he does, and that might change things.
Yeah, last call was there from Barley as well, but now it's a 2v3. 2v2 as they even things out, and a good snipe from Sergeant there with a homemade. Oh, follows a bit more as well. Revenant answering back, but still, if they lose control again, it's going to be more of the same, just on that one singular side. But they've switched things up, be on an open lane, but it's not against the most open of lanes.
Not the cleanest of breaks from Sergeant, but nonetheless, it will provide some value as now Rising Sun recollect themselves. They got the lead still. But Meow falls. Troy going in on the aggressive does find the pickup and now places Sergeant into the Shadow Realm, and that's going to keep him off the objective. But meanwhile, Response is able to capture a little bit now, almost at 30%. Sergeant, though, with no super, nowhere to go, does obtain it. How does he come out of that alive? Straight though into the hands of Troy, who will seal it.
Yeah, it didn't last long after that, but the Barley not really finding too many connections. Pan turret established as well, might take a few shots off him, and Troy dominating the back lines. But for what? He's not getting the zone. Missed B super, and it's rare we see that at all. But a super being thrown out, last call comes down. Troy still dominating Sergeant. He's just spinning on him, but the rest of his team are doing work.
Yeah, this is the thing. The objective is being played out. CZK now on his own takes the lead for Rising Sun, and these shots have got to land for Response. One there, but finds nothing onto Meow. And in the meanwhile, the Barley is so low as well. There's so much noise on the stage, and it's because Rising Sun have just completely dominated their competition. Now at 90%, they should be able to secure this game.
I mean, it's a good end and a good start from Rising Sun, but I just don't know what this comp is from Revenant. It's really disappointing, I feel. Like, in the position they were after that first set, really good. They looked good, dominating, in fact. And then they draft Piper, and I mean, Piper might be good, might be able to open the map, unbreakable walls, and when Barley establishes himself up top, you can't really do that much. It just feels like it was a wasted lead that they've had.
Yeah, Piper's in a good spot, though, regardless, but I would never draft her here. I mean, if Revenant can get better control and make a cleaner break and open up the right-hand side, it might be able to do something. But it wasn't the brawler pick for me in terms of the draft, and that might prove costly for Revenant here as Rising Sun gaining their momentum and possibly taking this to a third and final set. If things continue this way, they are playing this very, very slow, but neither side is dipping their toe into that center zone. And in the meanwhile, everyone just trying to be the first to fall. It's not going to happen. I think everyone is just going to play the same game at this present moment in time.
Slowest game of Hot Zone I've ever watched, but I mean, you can't really blame them for not wanting to step out of line. Revenant don't want to give this game over to Rising Sun, and Rising Sun definitely do not want to give it to Revenant, or it'll be close to that match point. 1% to be earned, jump straight over that homemade recipe. Nice from Troy, but for the follow-up wasn't that great. Kind of got stuck in between Prashant and Response. And now Piper Shot's following up. They've got some room, but I don't think he's even hit a shot, never mind close to a super.
Yeah, there's so little on the objective. It's just so strange to see, but now Revenant are starting to vamp things up, and that's going to encourage a response now. Rattled Hive coming out for a response. It's got to find something, and it does. CZK falls with the help there as well of his teammates. That's a valuable pickup. Sergeant going to break his own side first, and then try to obtain yet another super off the back of things. Troy, though, in that spot. There's going to be Mama Squeeze as a star power there, keeping him low. He keeps going inside the healing station, so he's got to be cautious. What a takedown, though. Meow falls.
Yeah, Sergeant now slotting into a bit of a better position, but needs to break on this right-hand side. That's what he desires, but is he going to get it? Just about take some of the walls, but still, a couple remain on that right-hand side. Only a slither of HP for Sergeant over that left as well, and it was a good jump in the end, but Response is getting hit pretty hard now. Cordelia's trying to make the move, but gets slowed down, just deleted instantly, and now it's Revenant's turn to show themselves.
Well, Prashant on the right-hand side is doing a nice amount of pinch work between himself and Response. And Rising Sun, they're nowhere to be seen right now. They need to start to retake things as this map now so open is allowing Sergeant to shine somewhat. Meow low again, and Prashant might be able to pick up it. He does pick it up. Troy falls as well. Everything is starting to crumble down here for Rising Sun as they've got to get back in this game, and they've got no utility in order to do so.
They've got a Cordelia super. They need to single someone out, but are they going to be able to win that matchup? Even if he does, he goes down, misses his super entirely. And now this is Revenant domination. The turret even thrown high by Prashant. He's just going to push forwards, take him out. CZK even spinning. 30 seconds on the clock. Even if they got everybody out team wipe and then held the zone, it's not going to happen. Match point inbound from Revenant Esports. They're not even on the zone. They were just going forward and trying to get some more KD, I feel. But Revenant Esports going to be match point.
Yeah, no question of it. What a difference that game was to the previous. Rising Sun gave themselves a glimmer, but that is slowly diminishing. And the momentum is with Revenant at this present moment in time. But again, as we've already discussed, it is a risky draft for them and one that could go south quickly. Rising Sun, though, have got to be much more aggressive in these early outsets, utilize that medical use star power and also the gear in its way. And yeah, this is much more what I'm expecting to see from this kind of comp. It's the early game where you can thrive, but as quickly as that, Troy falls and leaves it in a 3 versus 2, and Meow is going to fall as well. What a start for Revenant.
Well, Prashant now trying to hold this lane, puts the turret down and tanks it as well. Response even throwing a shot back at Sergeant to praise him, I feel, and even following it with more shots. Beautiful stuff from Sergeant. Response doesn't even seem to be playing at this point, just praising his teammate the whole time. Troy going to come in though, and now he's going to get the Realm against Response, even take him out, but good trade from Sergeant yet again, and this guy's not missing.
That is the setup. That is the setup of dreams there for Sergeant. The entirety of the front completely open and spaced, as well as their own defense. Troy immediately goes down. Little that Meow's gonna be able to do is gonna try and pop a gadget. Maybe Sergeant will fall. It's the best chance that Rising Sun have had all day in this matchup. But for what to show for it, it's 56% on the zone already for Revenant.
Yeah, but eventually now slotting into a better position. Meow looking to try and pinch this Sergeant kill, but putting himself in a tough position with Prashant there, and does eventually get that turret, places it down, tanks some shots, and Revenant push back into the spawn now. Troy just trying to work for another super, might even get Pam and the super. But this is slowly edging closer and closer back to Rising Sun, getting it in a set number 3.
It's actually really commendable here from Rising Sun. They're now approaching 56%. And that what an amazing turnaround. Response will fall to the last call. CZK still in the mix here as well. To Prashant, Sergeant comes in, healing station there, immediately gone. It's happening. Rising Sun are doing the unthinkable. And I thought the map was perfect for Revenant to bring this back. Now, though, into the zone. 65% for Rising Sun. There's little in this.
I mean, if Troy goes down, though, it's going to be difficult. There he goes, and now it's a 3v2. Prashant going to survive on a slither of HP. The bounce from the Jesse shot hits the wall on the right-hand side. 64-64. Sergeant in a beautiful spot for this map at the moment, and they've taken the lead percentage-wise as well.
Rising Sun are turning up the gears, and Wiggly Smooth is screaming on the set for his team to push, 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 and that is exactly what they've done. They are all still on their feet as well. Prashant is pocketed in, but Sergeant comes in clutch on 16 HP. Response on the left takes down Meow. It's just CZK all alone, and what can he realistically do? As we approach 90% for Revenant Esports, Rising Sun are dwindling.
Yeah, I mean, there's Troy's super. Response goes down, but there's a turret. There's everything on the zone from Revenant Esports, and they're going to be going to the upper bracket finals in a quick 2-0 sweep. Rising Sun could not keep up with Revenant's speed and their heat. Their long-range sharpshooters just were too much to handle when the maps were broken.
It just felt like Rising Sun left things a little bit too late in the sets. You know, we saw some good promise. They did stand up to the heat and they did fight back. And that's what I'll remember from that series. But, you know, you do have to be able to assert yourselves in a bit of a more aggressive fashion against a team like Revenant. But again, nonetheless, friends on stage, friends off stage, huge embraces. And I mean, this is what BRAWL Esports for me is all about.
I mean, it's not like it's over for Rising Sun yet. It's not like they've completely knocked their friends out of the competition. they just gave him a little bit of a helping hand towards that lower bracket. Obviously, he'll be facing off against one of our other teams, Humble or Datos FA, and that will be the decider of who goes out this competition. Obviously, see Revenant.
Great stuff. Oh my word. I mean, you know, talk about that Piper pick all you like, but Sergeant Clash there, 18 takedowns and the most DPS across the board, just shy of 300 there. I mean, by comparison with Meow, I mean, it's a night and day comparison, isn't it? Just the 3 takedowns for him, but it was a fantastic match for him. And Revenant have got to be feeling very good going into this next one. I cannot wait to see what has happened off stream as far